Okay, this video is for students of IS 566, and in it we will see how to configure VS Code to be able to connect directly to your virtual private servers in the cloud, edit files. So I will begin by checking my SSH connection. So I'll open up PowerShell. And just try to SSH to student at my server, and we'll verify that we can connect OK. So now I'm going to open up VS Code just by typing code space dot. We'll tell it to open in my current directory. Okay, so I have to install an add-in or an extension. So I'll come to this area right here, and I will search for the SSH extension. That should bring up Remote SSH done by Microsoft. I'll install that. It should take all of a few seconds. Looks like it's installed and ready to go. And I can tell that because I've got a green arrow, double-headed arrow down here. So I'll click on that, and now it's asking me, what do I want to do with SSH? Well, I want to connect to a host. So I'll select that one, and I don't have any hosts configured yet, so we've got add a new host. That's what we'll choose. Now I'll just go ahead and SSH to student at prof.gov.net, and of course you will use your actual address, which is probably your first name or maybe the first name and first letter of your last name at .gov.net. I'll hit enter. Now it's asking me which configuration file I want to update. I want the one associated with my username, so that's this one. And it says that the host has been added down here, and so now we're ready to connect. Now this may prompt me for a firewall, but it looks like it didn't. But if it does prompt you for firewall access, you need to approve that. So now we can see down here that it tells me I have an SSH connection to prof.gov.net. So I am going to come here to my list of folders, my Explorer, and now I've got to tell it which folder I want to open on the remote server. So I'll click Open Folder, and it's defaulting to Home Student, which is going to be fine for the things that we're doing in this class. You could choose any folder that you want to bind onto on your server, as long as you have permissions to it. And so I'll just say OK. Now that should bring in a list of folders that we have here. So I'm going to be looking at editing some of our SQL scripts. So I'll come to my SQL scripts folder, and I should have one underneath analytic functions, start.sql. So I'll just go ahead and open that. And so this is just the SQL file then that I have here on the server. You'll notice that it is in the path from my student, my /home/student directory, so my home directory of my user, under SQL scripts, analytic functions, 1_start.sql. So I can, using my connection to my server, I should be able to just run SQL and then provide it that path. So ~/SQL scripts /analytic functions /1.startSQL, and that should try to execute that query, which it does. And so right now it's bringing back 12,000 rows. Now let's just go ahead and modify this. We'll talk about this kind of thing in the where clause here, but we can, in Oracle, we can reduce the number of records that we're bringing back just by saying where row num is less than, say, 21. That should give us the first 20 records. So I'll save that just by pressing Control S. I'll come and rerun that script, and now we can see that I've modified it. I'm only getting these 20 rows back. So we've successfully configured VS Code to be able to connect through an SSH connection to that server. We've edited files and can see that they are being edited and saved.